Hiya YouTubers, I am JabeerIni and I'll show you today how to brew a beautiful beer at home. The beer we'll be brewing today is a cherry beer. There's a number of ways in how you can add fruit flavor to your beer. One is with the use of extracts, and another option is with the use of actual fruit. The extract or essence option has the advantage of being easier to use and also safer from a biological point of view. The fruit option, on the other hand, is, in my opinion, better because it allows you to add the full flavor of the fruit and, depending on the fruit, the whole color of the fruit as well to your beer. This is my intention. I want to have a beer that tastes like cherry, and I also want those cherries to contribute to the color of the beer to make it more interesting. As I commented in the previous episode, one thing that encouraged me to try and brew this beer is the fact that there aren't many videos there on YouTube of people adding fruit to their beer. So I thought that since this is sort of an unexplored territory, it would be nice for me to actually contribute. Besides, I like cherries, I like beer, I think they're gonna mix well together. So without further ado, let's get brewing! Okay, so here we're in the kitchen. Let me give you a quick overview of the ingredients we'll be using. But before, what is the thing that you need when you're home brewing? A home brew. So this is the beer I'll be drinking today while brewing this lovely cherry beer. Okay. Well, even if I tried, still some foam and some head. Cheers! Let's go and see those ingredients. As usual, water. This is a 5-liter container which we'll be using as a fermenter. 800 grams of Golden Promise. 5 grams of Columbus hops. These are for bittering. 2 portions of EK Goldings, 1 of 3 grams for flavor and 1 of 2 grams for aroma. A quarter of a tablet of protafloc. 350 grams of cherries. These are natural, and the advantage of this one in particular is that they are pitted, so less work for me. And last but not least, our yeast. What is this? This is a yeast starter. This is the first time I ever do a yeast starter. Not only that, but the yeast with which it is made was harvested from the Maris Otter Chinook mash we brewed in episode 4. So first time harvesting yeast, first time doing a starter, and so far looking very, very good. So the first thing we're going to do as usual is to pour the whole content of this bottle into our pot. There it is. We need to get that water to 65 degrees, and in the meantime we're going to measure our grains and hops. And you may ask yourself, what is that tiny pot doing there? Well, that's for the cherries. We'll use that in a minute. And there we have it. Now it's all ready for the action. See you in a few. Cheers! Okay, water's at 65 degrees now. It's ready to start the mash. So time to set our timer to 60 minutes. That's the mashing time. I'll be back in a few. Cheers! Okay, so 60 minutes have passed. Our mash is over now. Time to sparge. So far everything goes according to the standard brewing procedure, so to speak. But now we're gonna twist it just a little bit after the sparge. All we have to do is patiently and gently pour boiling water. In this case it's, I would say approximately a liter. I don't know if you can see the color of the wort now. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. Well, it's called Golden Promise for a reason. It's very, very, very pale and it smells beautiful. This is more or less what I'm looking for here because the cherries are going to add a lot of color. So if I want to have that lovely deep red color in my beer, I need a clear wort. Nothing better than this, really. In the meantime, we're gonna turn this to maximum power because we need a running boil for the usual hop additions. Okay, so while we wait for the wort to get to the running boil that we need for the hop additions, I'm going to take a while to explain to you what we're going to do with the cherries. These cherries are no longer frozen, as you can see. So what we're going to do in order to ensure that there isn't any wild yeast in our beer, and that is a big problem, we're going to cover them in water and we're going to boil them for 30 minutes. If you have made jam or jelly at home, it's basically the same but without adding any sugar to it. I'll show you step by step what we're going to do. So the first step is really simple. All we have to do is put them all in this pot. Okay. And then we're gonna add water, just enough to cover them. We don't need more than that. We're gonna boil them for 30 minutes. Okay, quick update. Now we have the running boil that we needed for the first hop addition. The hop additions will be 60 minutes. This is a bittering addition. Then 15 minutes for flavor and then 5 minutes for aroma. Here, as you can see, we already have our cherries boiling. The smell is glorious, especially now that I added the hops. So far smelling really good. So I'll see you in a few for the cherry process. Cheers! Okay, so 30 minutes have passed. That lovely summer red IPA is going down nicely, and this is done. Now we need to wait for it to cool down before we can blend it. Okay, so now our cherries are ready to be blended. I cooled them down using the same technique as with the wort. So now all we have to do is blend them. And that's it. Now 30 minutes before the end of the boil, we will add them to the wort. I'll be back in a few. Cheers! Okay, now we are 30 minutes before the end of the boil. Time to add our puree. It's actually more of a runny puree, but it's not liquid. Alright. Well, as you can see, it immediately turned the wort into I would say between red and purple color. The mix of the smells of the hops and cherry is, as I said, glorious. Again, I get the feeling that this is going to be a beautiful beer. Last 15 minutes of the boil, time for our flavor hops. This is 3 grams of EK Goldings. I'll be back for the protafloc addition in a while. And here I'm back. Last 10 minutes of the boil, time to add our quarter of a tablet of protafloc. I'll be back for the final hop addition, which is the aroma addition. Alright, last 5 minutes of the boil, time to add our aroma hops. These are 2 grams of EK Goldings. Now we're getting closer to the end of this really lovely and beautiful beer. Timer is done. It's time to turn this off and cool it down. Let's go! As usual, this will take more or less 5 minutes until it goes down to 25 degrees, more or less. That's the temperature we're looking for. So I'll be back once it's done. Less than 5 minutes, and I even got a temperature lower than the one I was actually looking for. So this is good. Time to pour it into this pot. So here we go. Let's go again. And finally, this is it. Okay. This is it. Okay, so here it is. It's already in the fermenter, so to call it. And here's a pic of the gravity reading. I wasn't actually looking for a high gravity, but it came out higher than the average. It's 1054. So now time to shake it. I'll be doing this for a couple of minutes, and then we will add our yeast starter. Okay, so here it is. Here's our healthy yeast starter. I'm gonna shake it a little bit. Do you hear that? Whoops. And I think I'm gonna have a blowout. Alright, so first time brewing a cherry beer. First time harvesting yeast. First time doing a starter. First time having a blowout. Okay, so time to close it. There's a hole I drilled in this lid so that I can place the airlock. Okay, so this is it. Now it's only a matter of time. As always, I'll let you know how it came out. Okay, so here we are. I've placed what will soon be our cherry beer back there. The color is really interesting. It looks more like cider rather than beer, but there it is. I'll let you know how it turns out, and of course I'll do a taste test video, but so far it's looking really good and smelling good as well. For next week we have what I consider a classic of home brewing. It's a beer that has been brewed a lot of times. It's actually sort of famous amongst home brewers. I've never tried it, and obviously I've never brewed it before, but only by the hops I know it is a good beer, and no wonder it is, as I said, sort of famous. All I can tell you as a little clue is that it has the name of an old song. So this is it for this week. I really hope you enjoyed the video and find it useful. If you have brewed a fruity beer, or even if you have done it using extracts, please let me know in the comment section below, because I'm really willing to learn more on this field. And depending on the results I get with this beer, I'll probably brew some more. If you like what you see, comment, like, and don't forget to subscribe. And as usual, thanks for watching. Cheers and beers!